What's up, guys? I just want to jump back on here because I found a really interesting video that I just had to react to. Um, and I found it on this channel called the Poor Man Podcast, which is an awesome name if you ask me. Um, but this topic is pretty interesting. But I want you guys to go to this guy's channel, subscribe to his channel, like his video, tell him I sent you. And without further ado, let's just watch this. This is a really interesting video. Well, let's check it out.
The dark world of celebrity yachting. So basically, the Diddy boat.
Yeah.
The Diddy cruise.
Yachting is one of the
Diddy
entertainment
cruise.
industry's biggest open secrets.
For the record, this has been going on long before Diddy. Okay? This yachting where you bring girls out into the middle of the sea and do all kind of nasty shenanigans with them in order to give them modeling contracts and movie role, that's been going on long before Diddy. Let's just keep it a buck.
With A-list stars, including models, actors, and influencers, being rumored to have been involved in yachting at some point during their careers. If you're unfamiliar with the term, yachting is used to describe the practice of being paid to spend time, often on a
Spending time in exchange for gifts. That sounds a lot like something we already know. We don't call it that. Like, rich people just get away with anything. That's how you explain it? Spending time in exchange for gifts?
That's what they think. That's what
buddy.
the Epstein files are so
wealthy
bad.
clients. Over the years, it has become a popular way for women to raise their profile while making some money.
Yeah, of
However, under the surface, it has a dark history of coercion, sexual exploitation, and human trafficking.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're in international waters where there are hardly any laws, the person who makes the laws is the person who owns the boat, right?
The term itself first started gaining traction when The Hollywood Reporter published an investigation into the
$40,000 a night? That's not exploitation. $40,000. I know a lot of people that can keep a secret for $40,000 a night. Like, a lot of people are surprised about this type of stuff. And I don't know, like, I know people who are willing to do something like this for a lot less. I think people get surprised because they go, this person's a celebrity. They already have money. Why would they do something like this? But I think that's because people forget how greedy people who have things can be. Like, I know people who would do something like this for a lot less. Let's be honest. $40,000 a night.
Yeah, wealthy, successful people have a level of greed I cannot understand. For example, Elon Musk. He has more money than any man, any human being alive today. And yet it's still not enough. This guy just wants more and more. Like his hunger, his appetite is never satisfied. So yeah, that's a level of greed. I just don't understand that type of greed. It's weird to me.
That's no longer exploitation.
culture at the Cannes Film Festival in 2013, claiming that models and some Hollywood actors swarmed the hotels and yacht parties during the festival.
Looking for
a man
opportunity.
named Eli Nahas, who ran a modeling agency at the time, and would later be convicted of supplying more than 50 women to rich Middle Eastern clients.
Well, that's what modeling is, right? There are a lot of pretty young women that want an opportunity. How are you going to separate yourself? They show them up. And by the way, you're going to make way more money doing this than you're going to do in the modeling. So these young girls get into these things, and the guy goes, hey, I got some rich clients, because these guys want power too, right? And the best way to do that is to provide rich men with young, attractive women, because there are some men who build their web for their entire lives just for the benefit of being able to sleep with young, attractive women until they're 60, right? So these guys who own the modeling agencies, they get their power by supplying these guys the women. And so they're like, hey, we have this opportunity for you. You're going to make $40,000 a night. They show them a picture of their favorite celebrity superstar model, and they go, she used to do this too. This is just what's going on in this business right now. Some women will opt out, but some women will join the opportunity to make $40,000 a night. I mean,
Festival said
that's what
every
it is.
year there are 30 to 40 luxury yachts in the bay at Cannes, and every boat belongs to a very rich person.
Yeah.
Every boat has about 10 girls on it, and they are usually nude or half nude. These women are referred to as yacht girls, and they blur the lines between party goers and escorts, as the general agreement between them and the host of the boat is that by coming aboard, they are expected to carry out favors.
Yeah, well, what else are you going to do in international waters? Like on Step Brothers, didn't they already make a song about this? It was boats and hoes. That's what it is, right? Either you fishing or you the other F word, right? You either do one of the two.
Either
if you
you fishing or you fucking.
It's only two ways you can go on a boat. Either you fishing or you doing the other F word.
At the end of the night, they are all gifted envelopes full of varying amounts of money. The amount of cash they receive is based upon their celebrity status and what favors they carried out over the course of the evening. According to Nahas, you definitely recognize more than a few names from Hollywood. They tell themselves what they're doing at Cannes is okay, that they're just on dates with girls, include Bella Hadid, Hailey Bieber, and Meghan Markle. But before we get deeper into that, let's ponder why an already wealthy and successful person would consider doing it. As previously stated, the men who own these boats are extremely wealthy. And
because they're greedy and there's far few in between those acting roles. Right? So what are you doing to maintain your life? You might make a movie every 4 years, right? What are you doing in between that time to maintain your life? You got taxes you got to pay, so half of that's gone. You got lawyer fee or agent fees. You got manager fees, all these different things that come with that lifestyle. So you got a lot of expenses. How are you going to maintain your life when you run out of movie roles? Yeah.
Unfortunately,
get on the
with
boat.
Wealth comes power and connections, and having a decent relationship with some of these people could take your career to the next level.
Exactly.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, yachting your way to stardom happens with disturbing frequency, and even pointed a finger at actress Irina Shayk, who landed her debut role in the film Hercules despite having 0 previous acting credits. And in a stylist article on women yachting, an anonymous source said, you might see people on the red carpet and have no idea who they are, but there's a reason why they're being elevated. They're being seen, but so is the person who invited them there.
And let's just be honest here. Usually when there's somebody that's a whistleblower or there's somebody that starts to complain, usually it's the person who feels like they've been shorted. Even when it comes to the Diddy stuff, because this is all similar. The Epstein stuff, the Diddy stuff, this is all the same thing. We see it time and time again. We know that this stuff happens. There's nothing that we could do about it, of course, because these people are somehow protected until they step on the wrong people's toes. Then all of a sudden everything comes out. Nobody knew anything about Diddy this whole time until now, and now he's this bad guy. So this whole time he's been doing this, the industry's not that big. The YouTube world isn't that big. We know each other. There's a lot of people who know each other. So in that industry is not that big. Everybody knew what Diddy was doing. And generally speaking, when it comes to the whistleblowers, they're the people who did the things for the opportunity and didn't feel like they got the big opportunity that they were expecting as a result of what they did. The people who make it are never the ones that are complaining. You ain't see Justin Bieber in the documentary. You ain't see Usher in the documentary telling his side of the story, because those are the people who feel like they got what they were promised. But everybody goes there looking for the opportunity to leech off of these successful men. These successful men know it, so they use that as leverage to get people to do what they want. And I do think that there's a psychological aspect to this, that when people are super successful and they have a lot of money, they look down on people who are willing to degrade themselves for money. So they use their money as kind of like a test to see how much of your humanity you're willing to sell and if they can get you to do things with the money, but they don't respect you because they know they can buy you with the money, right?
That is exactly what is going on. That is so on point. They don't respect you, so they know you will do anything for money. They don't respect you. And that's why Cassie wound up in the situation she was in. Diddy did not respect her, and that's why he put his hands on her. Notice he never put his hands on J-Lo? Very interesting.
So the things they do to you become more and more harsh to see how far they can take it. They literally look down on you because you're able to be controlled by money. And those people are so used to power that if you actually have morals, they don't want you around because you're not able to be compromised. Those people want control. And what's best when you want control is to have people that you can pay to get to do things, because that's how you could control them, right?
They also went on to say, you often see someone with 1 million followers, always traveling and being pictured on a private jet. And you think, well, how are they doing that? Where are they going and who with?
The men who are going to be involved in yachting, it's going to be very high up, well-to-do, extremely wealthy men. Well-connected, anonymous businessman type. You wouldn't recognize their name. You have no idea who they are.
Exactly. And that's why rich people love privacy, because when you're private and nobody knows you, you can get away with things. Diddy would have been able to get away with it if he wasn't such a public figure. And if people didn't know who Diddy was, he could pay off a judge. He could pay off a lawyer. He could get things done. That's why rich people enjoy privacy, because when you have privacy, you can buy prostitutes and do what you want and get out of it. But when you become a public figure, now there's too many eyeballs on you and people want to make an example out of you. Why do you think they take their cell phones? It's because they don't want these girls taking photos of people's face. Why do you think that they're in international waters? It's so that they can get away from paparazzi. There's a different level of secrecy when you're in international waters. And that's why they say like wealth is subtle. Like new money wants the respect of the peasants. So they walk around with jewelry to impress the peasants. Old money, they don't care about what the peasants think, so they do things to impress the people of their status. So they walk around more subtle because when you're subtle, you don't have as many expectations. If you're walking around with jewelry, people are going to start asking you for money and expecting you to deliver because they see that you have more. When you're more subtle, you get another level of privacy. It's really all about privacy and secrecy.
Bunch of companies,
privacy
a lot
is
of money,
number one.
You wouldn't recognize their name.
To give you an idea of just how wealthy these yacht owners are, some of the yachts spotted at the Cannes Festival in 2019 include the Serene, a $500 million super
Holy
yacht
moly,
owned by
that's like the GDP of Yemen. That yacht is like the GDP of Yemen.
The Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, that features 2 helipads, an indoor climbing wall, a fully equipped spa, and 3 swimming pools.
Yeah, what do you think
also
all that's
spotted
for?
At Cannes was the Eclipse, the second largest super yacht in the world, valued at an estimated $1.2 billion. Once you take a look at some of these yachts and factor in what a relationship with their owners could potentially offer your career, as well as the often 5-figure plus gifts you receive at the end of the evening, it becomes more clear why someone would be open to play along, even if they don't exactly need the money.
Yeah.
In 2021, Emily Ratajkowski released a memoir titled My Body, where she
Well, I have to break this
her.
down because I've actually experienced this, and there are a lot of people who don't really understand this concept. When you have a certain amount of money, it no longer becomes about the money. It's more about the power and the positions that you need to get something done. So say if you're like a wealthy multi-millionaire, you don't really care about money. What you want is to know a judge, right? Because when you're in a position where your nephew, say, gets a domestic violence charge, you want to be able to call somebody to make that disappear. And the judge might not be the richest person in the world, but it's more about the exchange of favors, right? So there's like this honor system that comes along with it where you get to know people, you help them out, they help you out, but it's more about the favors than the money because you want people to be able to do things for you that money sometimes can't pay for. And let me tell y'all my experience real quick. So when I was starting to rise up and like on YouTube, I was invited to like this party, right? And it's not like one of those weird things where it's like all this sexual stuff going on. But I did notice like there was a guy that I met that wanted me to get into his social circle. And in his social circle, he had accountants. He had people that were really big in terms of real estate investment. He had like lawyers, all these things that you might need to actually get a good push, right? These people that could back you, that could give you the right advice so that you don't have to spend the money to learn lessons, like expensive lessons when you mess up, right? So he had this social network and he wanted me to get involved with it. Those people would do things for me, but in return, I felt like I would have to do something for him. And if I chose to not do something for him, he could pull the rug underneath me. So I backed out of that situation and I didn't get involved because I felt like that would give him too much power over me. And I feel like if I'm going to make money or if I'm going to...
What he's explaining is factual, but it's also a very dangerous game. You're actually playing a game of Russian roulette when you do business like that. So you better be extremely careful if that's what you're gonna do. Do favors for people and expect them to do you a favor, and you know what I mean. And it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and more dangerous. But yeah, but I know what he's talking about though.
Become like a YouTuber, right? The whole point of doing that is so that somebody can't really control me, right? So to put myself under that type of subjugation for more money just didn't make sense to me. But I understand the allure of having more money and more power where getting into one of those social circles might feel like a benefit. But once you turn on that top guy that puts you into the social circle and you don't want to do the thing he wants you to do, he can pull the rug from right underneath you. So when you see these situations with Diddy, Epstein, and all these other things, these are social networks that want to get leverage over you so that they can make you do things. And if you start to refuse to do the things they want you to do, you're never too big for the program and they will pull the rug from underneath you. So that's generally speaking how power works. It's not more about money. You already have enough money to afford almost anything you could need need in life. It's more about having people in positions of.
They say one of the first rules of power: never try to outshine the master. That's what that is.
Power so that you can get things done for you that money can't necessarily buy when you need them done, right? So it's more of an exchange of favors. That's kind of how it works.
She details her indoctrination into the cult of beauty as defined by powerful men. Part of this book delves into her experiences yachting, and this made people speculate whether or not Bella Hadid and Hailey Bieber also partake in the business, as Emily has posted videos of them dancing on a yacht together at none other than Cannes Film Festival, the same festival that has become synonymous with yachting. One of the excerpts from Emily's book names one of her yachting clients as Joe Law, a Malaysian businessman who has since become a fugitive on the run after allegedly embezzling billions from the Malaysian state. With Emily publicizing her experience yachting with Joe Law, people began drawing lines between him and other potential yacht girls. For example, in 2010, Joe Law was pictured partying with Paris Hilton in St. Tropez, and in 2019, the Sun Daily reported that Kylie Jenner would be celebrating her 22nd birthday on Joe Law's yacht. This corresponds with a 2015 blind item posted about Kris Jenner and Kylie Jenner.
I found this Kris Jenner, Kylie Jenner blind item from 2015 that is so creepy, but I've never believed something more. We had really hoped that the younger member of this family would avoid all the pitfalls to which the others fell prey. No such luck. She's already in deep. The latest, she is actually being coached by her mother in both the art of pleasing a man as well as how to find one to pay her a lot to.
Kanye was right. Now, he may have been wrong about some things, but when it came to him trying to be a father and protect his daughter from this world, as a man with a daughter, I get it. And I think he was right.
Do it. We're not talking about a boyfriend or husband here. No, we're talking about yachting. We're talking about professional work. Her television fame and young age are already earning her a significant bonus over others who provide similar services. Of course. So that is Kris Jenner literally pimping out her own daughter, who was not 18, well below 18 at the time. Wow. Oh my God, and this is when they were filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians. On brand, at least.
According to Daily Mail, Joe Law also sent Kim Kardashian home in a white Ferrari and $250,000 cash in a garbage bag after partying with him in Vegas for a weekend. People have accused Kim of being a yacht girl for over a decade due to her appearances on yachts and seemingly random solo trips to countries such as Bahrain and Kuwait.
And that's why I don't like the idea. Now, this stuff exists and there's nothing we could do about it. It's been happening from the beginning of time. Now, we can police it and try to make sure that it happens as frequently. But this is why I don't like that people always pose it as exploitation, as if the rich, wealthy men are the ones just exploiting these women like they're not willingly involved. And the people who got the things that they wanted out of it, like Kim Kardashian, you're not going to hear them be the whistleblowers because they got what they wanted. And that's what these young ladies are doing. They're biting the apple and they're going into these environments because they're desperate and they're looking for an opportunity. They want status and wealth. And so that's the promise that they're given. Will they actually get that thing? Not necessarily all the time, but that's what they're signing up for. And when you dance with the devil, you can't really complain when he steps on your toes. That's just my opinion.
10 grand openings of the chain restaurant, millions of milkshakes. A stunt that actually resulted in large protests, which reportedly were tear gassed by police. It's a little loose, but some people claim these appearances were a cover for what she was actually being paid to do. While on the topic, Kendall Jenner was one of 13 celebrities to attend the grand opening of Hotel Atlantis the Royal in Dubai back in January, where she would be caught on camera in someone's Instagram story. TikTok user and
No, my poor Kendall. She's one of my favorite Kardashians. Not my poor sweet Kendall, no. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Ah, boy.
Hobbyist lip reader, impossibly asleep, would share with us what Kendall was saying in the clip.
I'm doing some stalking and my lip reading is getting really good. Is this your first or second time? This is my third. My first 2 times were horrible. Horrible. This is so fun.
People interpreted this clip as Kendall
pretty spot on,
describing
actually.
her prior
was
experiences in Dubai, with some speculating what she could have been doing there, especially after the Dubai porta potty story went viral. A story I won't go into, but will summarize as wealthy men flying out young women to Dubai and paying them to eat human waste. There have also been rumors of Meghan Markle being a yacht girl circulating as far back as the early 2010s,
it's not hard to
with
believe.
some people even speculating that this is how she met Prince Harry.
She was a deal or no deal suitcase holder, and then all of a sudden she ends up marrying into the royal family. How is that possible?
According to a blind
crazy.
item posted by 3 Days 3 Nights, if you see B actress post scantily clad photos of themselves on social media, this is often a comm that this person is available to rent for a weekend of yachting, typically worth $30,000 for the party.
And these are the types of women that younger women look up to because they think that they're like these bosses and independent and they don't have to answer to any men. And I'm like, somebody owns the yacht. And an influencer wage is not going to pay for that yacht. Somebody owns the yacht. You know how much it costs to charter a private jet? It's like $40,000 there and back. So when you see these types of women on Instagram on these private jets, it's either a studio setup where it's fake or somebody owns the jet. When you see them on a yacht or you see them on a boat, somebody owns the yacht. That's how it goes. Influencers don't get paid that damn much.
About to go off
Somebody
the deep
owns
end
the boat.
and enter conspiracy theory territory. But the part about posting scantily clad photos of themselves to advertise their availability is something many people online claim to be a real thing, with some people even claiming that water company 138 Water could be a front for offering high-end escorting services to the wealthy. A 2017 Crazy Days and Nights blind item says, last year she was affiliated with a high-price escort service run by a sleazy paparazzi agent who uses bottled water ads as a catalog of available girls. The so-called Fashion Water is a front company who lists this always broke rapper as a spokesman for the co-owner. A real co-owner is this mummager herself. Most if not all of the models posing in these water company ads are available for a price, including this sister of this ex-Disney actress turned escort.
That's crazy how long a lot of this stuff has been going on for, but the commoners didn't know to what extent this was happening until we got technology and we were able to figure it out for ourselves. With technology, you just don't have as much privacy, and this stuff is just harder to hide. The people who are victims of it or the people who are involved in it it's easier for them to speak out and talk about what happened. We just have too much access for the type of secrecy necessary for something like this to sustain itself. And the fact that we're all learning about this now, and this started to really happen around COVID. People really started to figure a lot of this stuff out and understand how the world operates behind closed doors. And I think there's something about realizing that just how bad justice isn't necessarily just. Like, you would assume that all of humanity and the government and everybody that's supposed to uphold this idea of justice would agree that kids are off limits, even if you're a rich, wealthy individual. And it seems like the people who are dealing with kids, because they're rich and wealthy, have a level of protection, even on a governmental level. Like, why is our government protecting these types of people? So it really shows you how high up the level of protection goes for these people who are in positions of power or are more wealthy, right?
Taking a look at 138's Instagram page, all you see are posts of women in bikinis with descriptions that seemingly advertise the women more than the products they're selling. Excerpts from one of their descriptions include, "Join us in celebrating the unstoppable energy and incredible vibe of the one and only Nina Svent, Miss European Universe. Nina is a force to be reckoned with. Brace yourselves for a visual feast that will leave you craving for more. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and blown away. Brace yourself, because Nina is about to take you on a journey to new heights." People have theorized that the broke rapper mentioned in the blind item is Tyga, and
they didn't say anything about the water in that ad. Interesting. It seems like they advertised the woman more than they advertised the water. So what was the advertisement actually?
They're trying to be slick, bro.
Momager is none other than Kris Jenner.
If you are trying to have a fast track to success, if it's not happening for you, modeling, acting, entertainment industry, whatever that looks like. Yachting will always promise you connection.
Yeah, of course.
It will promise that you will meet high up people who are the decision makers for signing movie deals, signing modeling contracts. It might not always be true, but they are going to promise you that you're going to meet some big names.
In a pretty famous blind item hosted by Crazy Days and Crazy Nights, a struggling actress, whom people have speculated to be Vanessa Lenges, details their experience yachting and highlights some of the darker elements while also giving context as to why a seemingly successful person would consider yachting.
But this is part of the issue too, because it's so much secrecy around it. There's like this level of like trust between everybody, and once you break that trust by
I wonder if this happens to men too, and I'm not talking about gay men, because I already know that goes down. But what about straight men? Is there a way for straight men to, I don't know, sleep with a powerful woman to get movie roles and modeling gigs, and does that go down too? Because some women at the top, they're not angels. They're bad guys as well. So I wonder if the powerful women who are bad, they do stuff like this. No, because no one's ever talked about that.
going public with what happens, everybody comes down on you because usually you know what you signed up for. And now because you feel like things didn't go your way, you want to go to the public or you want to go to the authorities. But this is how these systems generally operate. And I think people are starting to like figure that out.
Blind Item says, I'm an actress, a generally out of work actress. If not for voiceover work, things would be bleak right now.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for this past year, but the show I was starring on got canceled. It happens a lot. I was on a hit network show for a few years, just a reoccurring role. It was on that show that I started talking to another actress. People have guessed this other actress to be either Naya Rivera or Heather Morris from Glee. She continues, while we waited for a scene to be set up, we would talk a lot. Hours of free time gives you a lot of time to discuss things. It was not that long ago that I was working every week in a pretty good show and making quite a lot of money. Then the star of the show got tired of acting, and just like that, the show ended and I was scrambling.
Dang.
I told her this story and she said I should think about heading to Europe for the summer. She had done it before. The more she talked about it, the better it sounded. Each week you never know if your job will be lost.
Well, you get paid a lot more and it's a lot easier to make the money. And you probably don't got to report it to taxes. You probably ain't got to pay taxes on that money.
Will the show be canceled?
Easy money.
Will the audience hate your character and you get fired? Will you ever get another job if you do get fired? The actress I was talking to made it sound super easy and that she only had sex a few times with the guys while yachting and that it was mostly partying and being arm candy. I asked her what I needed to do and she said that she would introduce me to the person who can make it happen. She made a call and that night we went and had drinks with a woman who gets a fee for sending people to model.
Of course. Yeah, so that's like what we call the madame or the bottom B word, the woman that's always involved, because they try to make these industries out to be a bunch of big, mean, bad men.
See,
but a lot of the people who do the recruiting that get you into these industries, a lot of the people who do the convincing that keeps you and gets you into these industries are the women. And there are always women involved, just as many men generally speaking.
Yep.
And the women are the ones that are that get you in the door usually.
Because
so
they
I'm happy they pointed that out because that's generally how it works. But for some reason, when we talk about these industries, it's always like these are just wealthy, powerful men that are bad. And I don't agree with what they do necessarily. I don't think that this is good. But I don't agree with what the women do when they choose to sign up for this type of stuff. I don't agree with what the women do either when they're trying to convince other women to get into this type of stuff. So, but I think the blame is oftentimes pointed to the powerful men and the women who are responsible in these situations are oftentimes just like pushed to the side, or they get to play the victim card like they weren't a part of the whole scheme.
That's what she called it. She had some fake British accent, which sometimes turned into a fake French accent. You're there to look pretty. A yacht is elegant, and so are you. Owners of yachts like to have parties, and needed to fill those parties with models. Again and again, the word model. Anyway, I was already in. I knew what to expect, and I knew I needed the money. I was treating this like an acting job. I would play the model part to a T. People know my face, people know my work. My fee at the time was $25,000 per episode, and each episode took a week to film. So I wanted $25,000 up front. 2 days after meeting the woman,
it pays a lot more. Pays a lot more.
The money was in my account. On my flight to Paris, I didn't notice any other women who looked like they were models. But when I got to Paris, that all changed. The models are all in the tiniest of bikinis. Most are topless. There was a lot more groping and staring. You would be in the water and some guy would grab you and touch you.
What else do you think you're there for? Like, you're not just there to party. And what's crazy is these women are getting paid $40,000 to do this. They usually know why they're there. You don't give somebody $40,000 a night or offer that without them knowing why they're there. They usually know why. Let's be honest here. We're all adults.
Wanted to shower with you when you got out of the water. They wanted to rub oil on you and have you rub it on them. If they saw some poor model passed out, they would film her and grope her. For the most part, it was a 3-hour sexual assault recorded. I hated it. A couple who were favorites of the people running the tour would stay with those guys in the yacht. The rest of us were 6 to a room in a hotel. By my last night there, half of the women were gone. Some had just quit, some had ended up with a guy they liked, and
so you hated it, but you didn't leave? You witnessed it all, and now you finally decided to speak up? You hated it, but you took the money, and you didn't decide to leave. You stayed the whole time.
Bro, she's in the middle of nowhere.
Goes, right? And then you went back for more, like you went to multiple of these events and parties, but you hated it?
Yeah, I don't think so.
It was so disgusting that you went 2 or 3 times.
At least
that's
one
just all I'm saying, right? Like,
overdosed. In 2021, Vice conducted an interview with a former super yacht deckhand who described their time on board as the coolest job in the world on the surface, while in reality, it meant cleaning up after sex parties, orgies, drug binges, and slaughtering animals on board so the food is as fresh as it can be. They also detail a fatality that happened where an anchor chain came loose and cut a leg off of an officer, leading to him bleeding out and dying on the boat.
Getting paid $40,000 a night and then saying that this is exploitation is crazy. I know women that would do it for the experience. I know women that would do it just to say that they were on a boat with wealthy men who...
That is really, really gross. Man lost his leg and bleed out to death? What in the heck, bro? What's wrong with these people? I was going to cut the video, but let's just finish hearing what this guy's saying.
Who were in high-paying positions, right? So, I mean, getting $40,000 a night and then saying that is exploitation to me just seems a little bit crazy. But either way, let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or L and give me the HBO special. That's out, brother. Special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content.
Yeah, definitely give the video a like. This was a good video. Subscribe to him. And don't forget to subscribe to me as well. Give me a like. And I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day. Peace.